Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, today we've got a seriously fascinating journey ahead of us. We are going to take military grade behavioral science, profiling techniques, and high stakes psychological tactics and translate the whole shebang into a completely accessible playbook for your everyday life. We are essentially decoding the hidden language of human behavior. Get ready because this is going to completely change how you see every single interaction you have from here on out. Okay, let's dive right into this. Here's the game plan. We're decoding 5 layers of mastery today. First, decoding the human face. 2, nonverbal trust and comfort. 3, hacking identity and language. 4, the true source of confidence. And finally, number 5, the interrogator's playbook. Let's get to it. Section 1, decoding the human face through passive observation. Our journey kicks off with the very first thing you do when you meet someone, just observing them. So I've got to ask you, what can you really tell just by looking at someone's face? You might think, oh, I can guess if they're mad or sad, but wow, it goes so much deeper than that. By the time someone is 18 or 19 years old, their habitual, everyday expressions have literally etched their life story right onto their skin. Think of the forehead as a giant social billboard. Lots of lines up there. That indicates a lifetime of really high social engagement. Deep crow's feet? That points to a history of genuine, frequent happiness. But then you look right between the eyes, at the glabella, and those etchings often reveal chronic anger. But here is the absolute wildest one, the lower eyelids. People who are highly suggestible, like to the point of stage hypnosis, usually have completely smooth lower eyelids. On the flip side, chronically skeptical people are always wrinkling that lower eyelid, etching it in over time. Honestly, I challenge you to try a little experiment. Next time you're somewhere busy, like an airport, just give a tiny eyebrow raise when you say hello to a stranger. 90% of people will automatically reflect that exact eyebrow raise right back to you without even realizing it. It's wild. Now, if you want to spot hidden changes in real time, you've got to watch their blink rate. The average person blinks about 15 to 17 times a minute. But here is a massive, absolute game changer of a takeaway. There is no distinct human behavior for deception. None. There is only stress. When someone's stress suddenly spikes, let's say you ask about financial projections on a Zoom call, their blink rate can literally shoot up to 80 blinks a minute. Conversely, when someone is intensely focused and interested, that rate drops like a rock to maybe 3 or 4 blinks a minute. So you're looking for that shift in blink rate. That's how you map out exactly what makes a person totally comfortable or incredibly stressed. Moving on to Section 2, nonverbal trust and comfort, or active communication. We've watched, now let's interact and see how to put people instantly at ease. So here's the crucial point, spoken language. It's incredibly new to our species. The part of our brain that's really calling the shots is the mammalian brain. Think of it as a 200,000-year-old operating system that absolutely does not speak English. It processes nonverbal cues. So if you want to persuade or comfort someone, your perfectly crafted words are totally secondary. You have to negotiate with this ancient threat-detecting operating system first. How do we bypass logic and signal absolute safety to that mammalian brain? Well, it takes a few immediate, totally actionable techniques. First, avoid standing dead-on, face-to-face at a 180-degree angle. That subconsciously screams adversarial confrontation. Second, give them space. Don't push past that 26-inch proximity mark right away. And third, when you're making an important point, speak with your palms open, right around navel height. Exposing your abdomen, which evolutionarily has no bones to protect vital organs, signals complete vulnerability and genuine trust. People are drastically more likely to believe you when you use this open posture. Oh, and let's quickly bust a massive myth while we're here. You've probably heard all that advice to deliberately mirror someone's body language to make them like you. Yeah. That is completely backward. Mirroring is a symptom of people who already like each other. Forced mirroring, it might give you a tiny 1% edge if you're lucky. But if the genuine emotional alignment and trust aren't already there, their mammalian brain will instantly sense that something is just weirdly off. All right, Section 3, hacking identity and language to rewrite self-concept. Now that physical defenses are down, let's talk spoken influence. Listen, if you want to influence someone, attacking their ideas is a complete waste of time. Why? Because people will fiercely, aggressively defend their identity way before their ideas. Enter identity agreement. This is the tactical process of getting someone to agree, whether mentally or out loud, that they are the exact type of person who would do the thing you want them to do. Notice how crazy simple this can be in practice. Imagine you're sitting with someone and you casually ask, how did you get this open with other people? Was it something you had to work on? The very second they start answering that, they are verbally accepting the identity of being an open, vulnerable person. Boom! You've completely bypassed their conversational armor, and their brain will naturally start acting consistently with this brand new identity they just claimed.
Another incredible tool is the embedded command. This is literally how you secretly plant ideas straight into someone's subconscious. It's a three-step dance. You pause slightly, deliver a hidden command that could totally stand alone as its own complete sentence, and then you pause slightly again. Say you're grabbing coffee and you casually say, "It's rare when you can feel completely connected to another person." Notice that? Feel completely connected is an actionable command. Tie that specific phrase to a subtle hand gesture pointing back and forth between the two of you, and you are literally programming their mammalian brain without them having a clue.
Okay, section 4, the true source of confidence, internal state mastery. Because here's the catch. None of those brilliant language hacks or face reading skills mean a single thing if your internal state is a mess. In behavioral profiling, they talk about the failure triangle. Basically, every human interaction fails for one of three reasons: a failure to observe, a failure to communicate, or a failure of self-mastery. You could memorize the greatest sales script ever written, but if you lack self-mastery, if you're secretly harboring anxiety or shame, their mammalian brain will sniff that out in a second and totally reject your influence. Self-mastery is the foundation of the whole operation. So where does real magnetic confidence actually come from? Well, it's definitely not about being the loudest guy in the room. True confidence actually requires you to ditch hierarchical thinking completely. You have to stop comparing yourself to others. Instead, real confidence is built on being massively comfortable with social injury. It means you are 100% okay with looking foolish or being judged. You become radically, almost delusionally self-forgiving. When your confidence stops depending on the room you're in, it becomes highly contagious. People will actually start borrowing your confidence to feel safe themselves.
Let's move to section 5, the interrogator's playbook, high-stakes control. Let's see what happens when the environment gets extreme. First off, Hollywood has completely lied to us about interrogations. Pounding on tables, screaming, using physical force, all that does is shove a person's brain down to the very bottom of Maslow's hierarchy, into pure survival mode. They'll say literally anything to make it stop, giving you massive amounts of totally false data. In reality, elite military interrogators get the absolute truth through kindness. They get true compliance by fulfilling basic human social needs. We're talking profound empathy and genuine connection.
When it is time to extract a confession, they use this devastatingly effective 5-part monologue. First, they socialize, just building a basic bridge of humanity. Next, they minimize the crime, making it sound like a drop in the bucket. Then they rationalize it. Hey, anyone in your exact shoes would have done the same thing. Fourth, they project the blame onto something else, like outside circumstances or a bad boss. And finally, they offer an alternative question. They give the target a choice. Did you do this out of malicious, evil intent, or was it just a totally understandable human mistake? By systematically stripping away their guilt and shame, the hidden confession just naturally spills right out. Now, let's look at the dark side of this. When we examine extreme applications of behavioral science, like CIA experiments or cults, they manipulate people by hacking 6 specific levers: focus, openness, connection, suggestibility, compliance, and expectancy. If an entity can dial up all 6 of these factors at once, they completely bypass your brain's critical thinking center. They capture that mammalian brain we talked about and can literally compel people to do the unthinkable. It all boils down to the ultimate, kind of terrifying mechanic of pure manipulation. Just remember the formula PCP: modify perception, shift context, change permission. If an influencer or a leader can alter how you perceive a situation, they successfully shift the context of reality itself. And once that context shifts, your own brain subconsciously gives you permission to break your own moral rules. Context is absolutely everything. Which leaves us with this final, incredibly vital question. We are constantly swimming in this sea of nonverbal cues, identity hacks, and shifted contexts. From advertisers to politicians to the people you interact with every single day, who is currently controlling your context? By understanding this playbook, you don't just learn how to connect deeply with others, you take back control of your own psychological permissions. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, stay curious.